What's the worst way you have caught someone cheating? When I was 18 I had a 20-year-old GF that lived with me because her lease had run up on her apartment and my dad said she could live with us and pay rent. I was still in HS and she was going to JUCO and working. Our sex life was great and ducked almost every day and she never seemed to be stepping out at all. One day I had to leave school because I got violently ill and when I got home my best friend's car was in the driveway. I thought it was weird because he usually told me when he was gonna be there. We came and went into each other's houses but let each other know. I walked in and saw my GF riding him on the couch, going at it so hard they didn't even notice me there. I lost my shit and started throwing all their stuff outside, then got sick and ended up throwing up all over their clothes. I locked her out and kept their car keys, so they had to walk to his house in puke-drenched clothes to get his spare, and when they were gone I threw all her shit out on the lawn. Bright side is I told his GF and she got back at him by having sex with me and I only had a few interactions with them then erased them from my life. Edit. I didn't expect this post to blow up. Sorry to hear all of your stories, even though some of them are amusing. If anyone wants to rant in private, my PMs are always open. My friend straight up came up beside me and looked at my test, then went back to his own and copied all my answers. Out of all the low life dirty shit you can do. Crazy. Almost the exact same thing happened to me. Was university/dorms. I lived in an apartment. Went home from class early one day cause I was sick and saw new girlfriend's car in front of the house. Same thing. Walked in. They were banging on the couch and didn't even notice me. Pretty ducked you'd have the same experience. I hadn't dated the girl for very long, so I just didn't get the point. If she hadn't have wanted to be with me, she should have just said. I was most pissed about the roommate. What was he thinking? I had to live with him for another 3 to 4 months, and it just made it awkward and I never let the guy live it down. Ducking idiots. I hadn't dated the girl for very long, so I just didn't get the point she was working up to her MFN threesome. My long-term girlfriend changed her Facebook profile pic to her with another guy. We'd been together for about 5 years. I was totally thrown for a loop. That was about 9 years ago. She's still with this guy, and I'm pretty sure she tells people that she was single when they started going out. This happened to me around 4-5Y, except I was the girl, and I had to see her profile picture, comments on my BF/his page, of them too, when it still said we were in a relationship on Facebook. He then took her out while we were still dating on my credit card thinking I wouldn't notice, just to be sure he was making the right choice. Decisions were made. Lol. It was a hurtful cyclone of emotions, confusion, betrayal and rage. About 3 ago now. Still aches. That taking her out on your card bid was super trashy. You dodged a bullet. Yes she did. I hope she realizes this. A friend of my then boyfriend added me on Facebook. That friend then proceeded to tell me all of the things they did together. I immediately called my boyfriend to ask about this person, and he said he didn't know them. I was like, really? My boyfriend then said they went to high school together. After further questioning, my boyfriend admitted to me that each weekend he went home. Instead of caring for his mentally ill mother as he claimed he'd be doing, he'd go to this person's house instead, and they'd do drugs, get drunk, and have sex. They were apparently dating for the last 4 months of the relationship I thought I was in. The other person was a guy. /r/Suddenly gay. I won't go into detail here, but I was the one in our family who found out that my dad was cheating on my mum and broke the news to her. Me being too young to really understand the gravity of the situation. Not that it would have changed much if I had known any better. I like to think I would have still told her. What followed was long and horrible to witness as a child. Divorce process, and the worst part of all was just seeing my mum in constant tears. If it wasn't for being upset about what was going on, it was tears of stress from having to go through it all. Certainly enough to put me off ever even thinking about cheating on my spouse. Deleted. Yeah, definitely. And it also explains a lot of things I've done and how I've been at times when I think about the effect that it could have just having that subconsciously at the back of my mind this whole time. I suspected her cheating for a long while. Little things didn't add up at all, and my gut feeling said things were very wrong. So I finally had enough and decided to leave work early and come home because a friend told me a certain truck was there. So I came home and hoped for the best and expected the worst, and the worst is what I found. It was the only time I swore at her, "You ducking little bitch," and I guess I'm not crazy after all for thinking you might be cheating. The only reason he did not go to the hospital was because my girls were in the next room sleeping, and going to jail was not going to help anything. You did the right thing, mate. I know you wanted to. You saved yourself one less headache. Hope things are better for you and your girls. Thank you so very much. Yes, indeed, things are better these days. What a piece of shit cheating. While your kids are in the same house sleeping, they could have woke up any time and saw that. Simply disgusting. It is indeed. Now I'm not going to say sheiks only do this, cause every one of these examples there was a guy involved as well. Just be vigilant, people. Her work phone was actually a working it phone. She had the same passcode for all of her electronic devices. I knew something was up when I watched her respond to a quick email. No one smiles and acts the way she did when doing that task. How much of a sociopath do you have to be to buy a separate cheating phone, then live an incredibly risky lie about it being for work, then text your side ass in front of the person you say you love? All cheating is ducked up, but this is infinitely more ghastly than a drunken one night stand with a random person. It's ducking evil. Yes, it is. That's why you have to love yourself. People will lie and lie. It's sad what it has come to. Me and my girlfriend were both 18 and at a house party. I went to go get some more beers and came back 10 minutes later to seeing my girlfriend coming out of a bedroom with the 14-year-old brother of our host. FBI, open up. Happy cake day. On my very first Mother's Day, I had this gut feeling that something was going on, so I went through his phone and found everything. All the pictures, texts, plans to take our daughter away from me and be with her. All of it. Safe to say it has pretty much ruined Mother's Day for me. Damn. That sounds so sad. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope all your Mother's Day are happier and full of joy. Hey, thank you. It took a while, but eventually I moved on, and I'm much happier now. I walked in on my fiancé ducking my best friend while I had been napping on the couch in the other room. Surprisingly, we didn't break up over this. We broke up because I got sick of her mixing tranquilizers and alcohol, and of her weird sympathetic hypochondria. Man, so many stories about cheating with best friends. Glad I don't have one, lol. Duck a best friend is what I say. Can we take a minute to notice this dude threw up on them? That's ducking awesome. Good shit. I thought that was a nice touch, and I'm kinda bummed no one has brought it up yet. I got you, boo. Not me, but I worked with a guy whose wife swapped out their wedding picture with one of her and another guy. Then she showed it to him and told him that they were ducking and she wanted a divorce. Oh yeah. And the two guys were really close friends up until that point, or at least they acted like they were. That's ducking brutal. It really is. I feel sorry for that bastard. Why, she was obviously shit. Better than a lifetime of dealing with her. My friend's GF of 2 years starting making out with another dude right in front of him while he was tripping on mushrooms for the first time. Ducking hell. Jesus ducking Christ. Shrooms amplify the duck out of your emotional states. That would have been literal hell. I came home to my apartment after landing a big promotion, only to find my wife ducking my boss in our bed. I left her right then and there, packed up what I had, and went on a journey of self-discovery where I learned a lot about myself and met the actual girl of my dreams. I was about to tell her I loved her for the first time and also explain that I was technically still married when my wife unexpectedly showed up drunk trying to win me back. The new girl smacked me when she learned I was married and left. So I consulted my sassy group of friends about how I could win her back. A divorce settlement and a few over-the-top romantic gestures later, and me and my second wife finally got our happily ever after. And even better, my best friend also ended up with my second wife's best friend, while my ex-wife ended up falling in dog shit and crying last time I saw her. It was hilarious fun for the whole family. This sounds like a movie, haha. I was thinking cliche contemporary romance novel. But if that's what happened, people are crazy. I was looking on her, my girl at the time, laptop to post a cute pic of us on Instagram. Instead I see a picture of her giving head pop style. Dumb bitch didn't turn off iCloud sharing to her laptop. All while she was upstairs babysitting my niece and nephew. I was devastated, cold breath, and tried to leave, but I had to stay calm because of my niece and nephew. One of the worst days of my life and I'm still shook about it. Sometimes I get caught in a rut, but I'm trying to get better. That was about 5 to 6 years ago. As in herp off. My GF of 5 years left me for my best friend and bandmate. The worst part to me is that the music I created with this dude was stellar. We spent a great deal of time together, tripping and jamming, getting into each other's heads. One day she came to me and said she wanted to go on a 2-week road trip with him. I really never considered what was happening until she came to me with this. When she got back, I finally convinced her to tell me the truth. She was in denial, or just a huge liar, that she had any feeling for this dude. She's 26, he was 21. 3 months after we break up with him. The best part, he went to jail a year later for letting a 13-year-old blow him. Now has on a list and 3 years later I'm with the love of my life on my way to buying a house. I was a cashier at customer service desk. We'd often do Western Union transactions. A woman came in and was picking up money. She had all the information correct except for one thing. Where the money was coming from. I told her the money was not coming from Iraq. This happened in a Texas city and a super military friendly place. She threw a fit, insulted me, etc. I called the manager and we asked her to call him. She calls him and then puts him on the phone with me. He asks ma'am, is there any way you can help me out? I tell him I can't, but that he can go back to Western Union and rescind the transaction. He tells me to put her back on the phone. She grins at me and starts to walk away. She comes back 45 or so later, crying, angry, and changes the woo form to read Phoenix, as he had lied to her about being in Iraq for at least 1 year or so, and had started a new life and family in Az. That poor woman. Not me, but apparently one of my best friends was going down on his girlfriend, and found a used condom inside her. No. I literally just covered my eyes in pure reaction to how bad that was. I was 17 when it happened to me. I dated this girl who used to have a good friend she worked with. She'd go round to his house, which I didn't have a problem with as in not controlling. But basically she was ducking him. Her sister blatantly told me in front of my then girlfriend, and I didn't believe her. One day I went over to their house whilst he was balls deep inside of her. Just walked out, and haven't spoken to her, or seen her since. Good riddance. Her sister sounds nice, I guess. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.